Welcome back to another episode of With the Waves. I'm your host, John Abdallah, and I'm here to talk to you guys about why do I self-reject? I've been recently noticing myself doing this a lot, and so I wanted to speak on it. I wanted to kind of evaluate what my thought process is and kind of help you guys steer away from that if you're feeling like you're also self-rejecting. And I'll kind of share in ways in which I think I've been self-rejecting. So let's get right into it. Okay, and first off, if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, I don't think I've ever recorded at night. And so I'm over here like, why is the lighting kind of weird? Because like now I only record with my Aura light because I'm just like, it's soft and I like it and enjoy it better. But I think I've always recorded in like the afternoon, and so there's like a little bit of light coming in plus the Aura light, so it's like not as like it's giving like I'm telling a story right now. But anyways, back to the topic. Why do I self-reject? The first reason I would the reason I first started thinking about this and like kind of being like, oh my god, I do that, because I saw this TikTok the other day and it was like, no one's gonna love you until you love yourself. And I was like, ooh, it's true. You need to remind yourself that. But it's just like, because I'm over here like expecting people story time. So I always assume like, I know I'm pretty. I can confidently say I'm like a good looking person. And so when I, like back in college when I used to go to the bars or whatever like that and no one would come up to me, I'm like, am I giving that energy? And so at first I'm like, I obviously don't think I radiate the energy to come up to me and come talk to me. But at the same time, I was like, am I rejecting myself? And that's why people are not rejecting, or the people are kind of rejecting me in a sense. I'm going to talk about 3 things when it comes to self-rejecting. I'm going to talk about relationships, work, and within myself. So obviously in your 20s, every age in this lifetime, for that matter, we are meant to experience. We're meant to experience life. We're meant to experience love. We're meant to experience literally just... you have to experience life, like living the life that you want to live. And you're meant to live this life and figure out what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. And obviously I've been trying to figure out like what I do and what I don't enjoy. So for example, you have like always in the back of your mind something you've always wanted to do. Like if you had no, like, for example, situations with money or just like the idea of what society deems you to be, what would you do in life? Like, what would you want to do if nothing was a part of if nothing was an obstacle? For me, I would literally travel the world to the end of it. I would even visit countries that are like prohibited in a sense. Like, if I could, I would. I do think it's possible to travel all over the world, God willing. But genuinely, there's that one like thing in the back of your mind that you've always wanted to do, and if you know, you know. And for me, it's to travel the world. And I just have been like rejecting myself in a sense. So for example, I have applied to so many jobs. So many of these jobs I find myself being very, very capable of doing, very, very confident in doing, and very, very over the top prepared to do and commit to and all these things, right? Like what I've applied to, I believe I'm more than capable of doing. I can only tell myself rejection is redirection so many times. For example, I have been rejected, which I enjoy rejection. At least you're telling me no. Even though no answer is an answer in itself, I would like to have a no so then I can move on to the next thing. But the amount of no's I've gotten, it's come to a certain point. It's come to a certain point where I'm just like, oh, do I have to take things into my own hand? Because I can only take no so many times in so many months. And are people asking, oh, have you texted these people? First off, job applying should not be so hard, first off. And second off, yes, I have done all those things. I have texted the HR manager. I have done everything I should have done under the sun, right? Like there's nothing I've missed when it comes to emailing a hiring manager, applying, keywords, SEO, like everything. So I was like, if I could, what's my dream goal? What's my dream goal in life? My dream goal in life is to literally travel the world. Like if I could travel the world and take photography, I would. So I thought to myself, first off, I've been working my ass off like at a restaurant. So it's like, I've been building up a savings. If I could, what would I do? And I was like, I would travel the world. So I was like, okay, maybe these rejections are redirections. Maybe I do need to just take things into my own hand. So I thought to myself, okay, let's look into ways I can just like move abroad so it's cheaper to travel everywhere, obviously. Because Lord knows it's like $1,000 to just get over to Europe and like that side of the country, because America itself is so big for no reason. They just wanted to conquer it all. Anyways, so for me, I was like, any way I try to get over there, it's not going to be bringing me in any money yet. So then I thought, what if I'd been seeing people do that? It's like the easiest way to get over there. Teaching abroad. I think that this would be the best possible way for me to kind of fix my portfolio and literally gain so much photography and videography from living abroad. And it would be cheaper for me in the long run, in the sense of like living there for a year and then taking those photos and building my portfolio. And who knows what else. Maybe I could like go to a fashion week or something. Like if I really just like get in there and type and do all that stuff, like just experience the world. And my thought process with this is, would I rather do it now, come back when I'm 24 next year, and literally just be like, okay, like I'm back at square one, but at least I did it. And maybe I'm not back at square one. Maybe this literal opportunity changed my life because I decided to do it. Is it freaking scary? Yeah, I'm moving abroad to a different country. Yikes. Couldn't even imagine. But at the same time, I've been in Chandler for 22 years. Let's not talk about it. So I decided and I've been like basically praying to God. I was like, at this point, I need you to put it into my lap. I need you to like simply place it onto my hand. Like I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so I'm like, please help. And so there's this one time where I was scrolling and it was like this traveling girl was like, how to live abroad. And I was like, ooh, call locked. That's meant for me. So then I was looking, and then another girl texted me and was like, hey, you should be a flight attendant. And I was like, I think it would be a great opportunity. I think that might be like my next step if things happen or whatever, which is like, you never know what's going to happen when I live abroad for a year. But the idea of catering to people, I hate anyways, I just hate the idea of service industry. It's great, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like, if there is another way for me to travel, I would do it this way. Now, the reason I'm kind of talking about that whole opportunity is because I was not going to do it. I literally was like, oh my God, I have 10 days to decide if I need to do it. Why the hell am I like not just clicking yes, commit, and go? Because my biggest enemy is myself. Everyone's like, oh, all you have is yourself at the end of the day, which I've said before, obviously. And I believe that at the end of the day, you have yourself, but first you need to back yourself up before you get to that certain point. The reason I'm doing this opportunity is because my besties and my literal mother and family have been like, you never know where this could lead you. That could be the greatest opportunity of your life. Just do it. And obviously I'm scared, but like, where am I going to go if where am I going to go if I don't change my directions in life? So I literally was like, bet that I'm going. Thank you all for the support. I really couldn't do it without them, because I myself am my number one enemy. I know for sure. Like, I'm always thinking in my head, like, oh my God, what if it doesn't work out? What if it doesn't work out? What if it does? And it's the best decision you've ever made in your life. And you come back even better than before. All I know is this experience is going to be very growth-esque. I'm not going to like return from this opportunity less than I was starting it. I hope I come back fluent in Spanish, because Lord knows I would eat that up if I was like, I don't know, but I would eat up being fluent in Spanish. Maybe fluent in my own language too, because Lord knows I need help with vocabulary. But I will be teaching English too. It's really that easy to teach English abroad. Now, I thought to myself, how can I overcome this self-rejection? For me, I think when I was applying to these jobs, I was just like, in a sense, rejecting the idea of it because my head was on something else. And I reject myself because I'm scared of being rejected entirely as many times as I remind myself rejection is redirection, it is scary. Obviously, it's not supposed to be fun. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Get back at, like, come on now. But at the same time, I think for me going to do this opportunity abroad probably won't be the best thing for me financially, but it would make me feel so productive in the sense of like soul finding and como se dice, my photography. I would just be content creation as baddie. Like every day I'm posting 7 videos. Like, for example, I've been genuinely catching myself reject situations in my head to be mentally prepared for if I do become rejected. And I think that's a lot of the reasons on why I maybe was rejected in certain sense when it came to my job finding, because my head wasn't there. And your head is super powerful. Whichever way you perceive life is the way it's going to perceive you. So if you obviously don't find yourself, me, in the corporate office, and you keep thinking about this situation, but you're not stepping into your best self when it comes to going to that way of your life, you're going to be stuck. And personally for me, it took me a while to realize I'm not stuck. I'm in my waiting zone. I'm waiting for greatness. I'm waiting for financial stability. I'm waiting for all these great things to happen to me and all these great things to come my way. I'm not stuck. I'm just waiting. I'm simply finding what is meant to find me. And yes, I may feel as if my feet are glued to the ground and I can't decide what like road and way I want to go, but once I kind of take that first step, I'm gonna start running, and I already know it, which I'm excited for because I have been needing some movement. And it's okay to like stay set and like observe. Don't absorb though. Do not in any way, shape, or form absorb what you don't want in your life, because the more you absorb negativity, the more your life is negative. We can get into that. No, we don't need to. It's basically very simple. The more you absorb negativity, the more you release negativity. Easier said than done, baby. But that's kind of all it is when it comes to rejecting myself within like the workforce and rejecting myself within like the passions that I want to commit, because first off, I guess we can continue back. I find myself comparing myself to people who are already in the shoes that I want to be in. And so I find myself rejecting what I could be before I even get there, because I'm like, what if I don't get there? Girl, chill. Like allow the life to play out the way it's played out. You're 22. I have enough time. I need to repeat to myself. I literally have enough time. We are only so young. But I do hate, you know who it is? First off, it's social media, because we are in that day and age where social media, people were not meant to like be seen so much and like be projected into so many ways without social media. And so here we are grasping all this information that first off may hurt us, not protect us. And that is your choice to choose to receive that type of information on social media. Like if you want to keep viewing TikToks and keep going down that hole and like keep viewing this person, this fitness, this, all these things that may not make you feel good, that's your choice. And so when it comes to becoming your best self, you need to really be in tune with yourself and find what makes you your best self. And for me, I've recently found out is not the service industry. I was talking mad shit to the other hostess about like this girl that walked in, or not even this girl, but it was like this family. And again, I asked this man to take his hat off, and it was, first off, he just didn't want to. And he was like, are you serious? First off, you're at a steakhouse. No matter how, I feel like every steakhouse I've been to is pretty nice. Unless I'm going to Outback or like Chili's. Chili's isn't a steakhouse, but like, you know, like I'm just confused why people get pissed off. I ask them to take a hat off. I digress. So it's because people are being rude to me. I feel like they need to be rude back. No, I need to stop that. First off, I need to remember what happens here ends here. It's like Vegas. Whatever happens at the restaurant, because first off, again, there's no HR team in the service industry. You need to be not big backed. What is it called? Big boned? No. Just basically like have a good grip on who you are, because people are rude, first off, in the service industry. The people in the back have no respect because they're like, oh, it's a service industry, we're all joking. No. Some of the people are weird. But I need to remind myself it ends there. When I leave that building, I can go back to living my life. There's no need to always think like the way that people treated me there is like how I view myself. Like, please. Away from that topic, because I don't need to talk about the service industry. Rejecting myself within the job industry obviously has come with some pros and cons. I have found myself rejecting how capable I am when it comes to living the life I want to live. And so I finally just had to take like a big gulp and realize I want to do this. Let's just see where it goes. Because at this point, I keep telling myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I need to move. I need to figure out what I want to do. Babe, but you're not moving. Pick your feet up and walk over to, like, you need to, sometimes typing in this computer is not how to do it. Like, you need to physically go somewhere. And so I chose to physically go to Europe. So whenever y'all are going to recession, I'm going to be partying up in Ibiza. I'm just playing. Just kidding. I feel like if America fucks up, we all fuck up, like in any other country. So yeah. On to the next, rejection within relationships. Now, mind you, I'm very happy with being single. I love the idea of just doing whatever I want whenever I want. But if we want to go back to the days where I do wish I wanted a relationship, I was always on my head being like, if a man came up to me, I'd be like, what do they want? Or where are the cameras? Because I would always reject them before they rejected me, because the idea of a man disrespecting me and like literally breaking my heart was not in my head. I was like not allowing that. So I told myself, things are never going to go anywhere because I don't want them to. And one time this girl that I'm friends with, she told me, she was like, you've never had a boyfriend? I feel like that's a you thing now. And I go, it is. At first I was like, no, I feel like no one comes up to me. But then I realized, oh my God, I literally self-reject so hard and then I was thinking to myself, it's probably because I'm rejecting literally the guy before he even, like, for example, I went on a date like 2 years ago. Has it been 2 years now? And I literally rejected it before it even started. One, because I was just like, first off, he's moving. This guy wasn't even going to be here. But also I was just like, I don't know. I guess I'm just not used to the whole dating thing. Dating is a whole different like scheme of like things for me. Like personally, I'm going to be a 30 and flirty type of girl, because who knows when I'm going to get married. Like I really need to know the man. It's giving friends to lovers for me, because it ain't gonna happen, respectfully, like anytime soon, because I literally need to experience this world. I need to experience this life before. I've never heard a good thing about having kids. Well, some people are like lovey-dovey trade wife, like they are obsessed with having that lifestyle and loving those kids and birthing those kids. But personally for me, I've never heard anything great. I've always been like, people are like, oh, you gotta do life before you settle down, no more than 2 kids. I'm like, y'all are not making this sound fun. So for me, I'm gonna save my money and I'm gonna spend it traveling abroad, not on the hospital bills that I did. Respectfully, they're expensive. I love kids. I was a kid. I'm so grateful that I was born into this world, and I'm so grateful for the people that keep bringing those kids into the world. Actually, well, depends on the persons, but respectfully, I think we should stop having kids and live our life, because we're literally just kids. When I see people on my Instagram being like married or soon to be, I'm like respectfully, I need to remember that's not where I want to be in life. So I need to digress. But I'm like, really? Like, that's your person? You're for sure? And then I remember it's not my life, so I need to digress. But I just get so shocked. Like, it's a jump scare. Like, I literally get so scared when I see a marriage proposal on my Instagram story. I'm like, oh my God, chill out. I literally haven't been on a date in 2 years. I don't know. For me, I digress, because it's not my life and that's not where I want to be. And I'm grateful. Literally have to remember, I'm like, my mantra is for the day. I'm not pregnant. I'm making money. I'm not pregnant. Like, that is so scary to think about. Anyways, when it comes to self-rejection within a man, I think it's more said than done. Like, I feel like everyone kind of feels this way, is like dating within this generation is so different from dating in the past lives. Like I remember these grandmas getting married real quick because people were dying off on war. But social media has definitely killed romance, I believe. There's a saying, I think there's literally a sweatshirt that says social media killed romance, but it has. Like I find it more difficult to find a connection with someone, like hella. And also when it comes to like being friends with a guy, also so different, because men in itself are kind of scary when it comes to being friends with them. That's why I spoke in previous podcasts, but I dab up people. I don't go in for hugs. I don't know, something about the physicalness of it all. Like I'm literally 10. I'm literally 10, you guys. Counting down the days. Guys, the day I have a boyfriend, it's gonna be a big thing. It's gonna be a big thing. Like the day I soft launch someone, everyone's gonna be like, no way. Because I won't even believe it. Please. I don't think I will soft launch. Guys, I'm not an influencer. What am I thinking? But I will say, I think self-rejecting yourself when it comes to relationships is not healthy. It's not. You're meant to experience love, obviously. You're meant to engage with others when it comes to finding out if you guys like one another, if you guys enjoy one another's presence, because that's important. And I think it's important to kind of gauge yourself when it comes to relationships. If they're like, my mom always told me, be friends before you get married. And I think that's so important because like obviously it works out when you like start dating first and it like you guys are soulmates, whatever, that's the thing. But at the same time, I think the people that are friends first and then turn into relationships last longer. Don't, like, honestly, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my goal, is like friends turn into lovers, because I don't know, my life is gonna be a slow burn, because I don't know when someone likes me, because I feel like I flirt, but it's not in a bad way. I flirt in the sense of like I'm just nice. Couldn't tell you. It's just scary. It's just scary to think about, and we need to remind ourselves like we are meant to experience love. We are meant to experience dates. We are meant to, like, the first date doesn't need to turn into a second date. The first date can just stay the first date, and if you guys had fun, become mutual. Don't try to ghost, please. But I will say, if need be, I've done it before. I regret it, but it needed to be done. Going off into self-rejection within myself. I think this one is a very intense little category, because when you reject yourself, your life does not pan out the way it's supposed to. For example, I think it's very important to fill your own cup, to where other people overflow it, other opportunities overflow it, and other just things you love to do overflow it. Because when you start basically expect things or people to fill your cup, and those people things leave, baby, what are you doing? It's gonna take you longer to build yourself up than it is now, when you're by yourself, kind of trying to figure out who you are and get to that point of loving yourself, to then where people can start filling it up. And so I've always known, like, when I've become coherent in the sense of maybe like honestly like senior year, junior year of high school, I was like honestly very comprehending when it came to Chandler's not made for me. I always made the joke, I always do a British accent because I literally just love to do a British accent, but also I literally wish I was British or just like European, please. Because I don't know, I just always found myself literally not thinking I was supposed to be in America, let alone Chandler, Arizona. Basically, you just kind of know that you're not meant for like the place that you're in right now, and so you try to have to figure out a way to get out, and it gets to a point where you just simply need to leave, and you can always come back. That's the thing, is like you need to remind yourself you can always come back to where you're at. You can always start back at square one, Pookie. Like, have you ever played that game Snakes and Ladders, or is it Slides and Ladders? Don't know, but think of that game. Like, sometimes you fall back down and you can get back up and win and get to the top. Let's always think about it that way, in my viewpoint. And so I think the worst thing ever is to self-reject yourself. That's worse than rejecting yourself in the sense of the workplace. That's worse than self-rejecting yourself in the sense of relationships. It's self-rejecting yourself. When you reject yourself, you reject other people. When you reject the way your life can be fulfilled, you're rejecting the life that you could live. I speak so passionately about this because I myself need to understand it and hear it, because obviously I know if I get up and I start the day the way I want to start it and I feel fulfilled with how I, worked out, spoke to my friends and family, what else is there to have? But here I am kind of rejecting myself from the life that I could live because I'm scared. And I feel like that is just the worst thing that could happen, is self-rejecting yourself, like from within yourself, and who you can truly be and who you can truly become. Because obviously I'm over here like, I do this, why do I do this? So then I look it up and I'm like, whoa, makes sense. Pretty self-explanatory, but it's obviously from past experiences and past like self-esteem when people like brought you down and all these things. And obviously it makes sense when I put into perspective, like just like when it comes to, I just always assumed like I was always compared to my sister, which is not a big deal, obviously, like love her, and she's great and I would love to be compared to her. But as a young girl, like I didn't like that, especially when it came to my grades, my looks, like all that jazz. Like, let's just say having sisters really, it helped me out in the long run, but when I was a little girl, like, please, it did not help me. I definitely was insecure AF, but it did cause me to fear truly, especially when it came to boys. I think that just happened because growing up, I was not allowed to talk to boys. Like my dad was like, focus on school, focus on this, like no boys, no boys, no boys. And then I got to the ripe age of 21 and he's like, all right, like, have you been talking to anyone? I'm like, whoa. Now you allow it. It's just funny to think about. But obviously these foundations that we have to rebuild for ourselves will then cause us to stop rejecting within ourselves. And I just don't know how much I can repeat it. Like, it just starts from there. Like, we have to help ourselves get to our best selves and find what's best for us to then persevere and focus on greatness that could come from within us. It starts with that negative self-talk. Like, heavily stop criticizing yourself. Like, if you even look at yourself and you think about something that you're going to say that's so negative, stop. Don't even open your mouth. If you can't fix it in 30 seconds, don't say it. Seriously, don't even say it. Like, I visit, oh my God, I can't fix it in 30 seconds. I'll just realize that at least I can release oil from my pores. I don't know that. But anyways, heavy on the comparison to others. Do not compare yourself to others. Literally, comparison is a thief of joy. I will repeat that to the end of the day. The more you compare yourself, the more you will deter yourself from finding who you truly are. Yes, you can compare yourself to those higher, like, obviously compare yourself for good. Like, if you see someone that you want to become, okay, let's compare ourselves in the sense of, let's be that bitch. But if you compare yourself to where it brings you down as a human being, that's where you go wrong. Don't look at someone, idolize them, and then think to yourself, oh, I'm not there yet. Babe, they're 55 and they just got there. Breathe. You're just 20. You're maybe 30 listening to this. I appreciate you listening in, but at the same time, we tend to find ourselves comparing and quickly finding ourselves not getting to that certain point in our lives where we want to be. But again, just comparing yourself is the worst thing. And when you compare yourself to those unrealistic expectations, babe, stop setting unattainable goals. Set tiny goals to then get to those unattainable goals. But you can't just like start on a hill and jump to Mount Everest. That's not how it goes. We didn't go out of the womb and start walking. It's simple, like, comparisons like that. Like, we did not get our permit and learn how to drive right away. You know, like, you build those tiny steps to where you can become greatness. Also, let's just become aware of ourselves, aware of our strengths, our weaknesses. When it comes to becoming aware of who we are as a person and those strengths, we got to persevere with those abilities. And obviously everyone has their weaknesses. Let's use those weaknesses to then help emphasize our greatnesses. Just like realize what those greatnesses and weaknesses are, strengths and weaknesses are, to then when you can recognize the potential that you have and allow yourself to grow. I just think I need to get to a point in my life where I need to stop self-sabotaging before I even get to where I want to be. Because, like, how can I start when I haven't even started? Like, because I keep self-rejecting, I keep self-sabotaging. I self-sabotage when it comes to relationships because, babe, when it comes to dates, because be so for real, like, I just self-sabotage and I, like, assume the worst. That needs to stop this upcoming year. I need to stop self-sabotaging myself when it comes to who I am as a person, because Lord knows the greatness that I can be if I just have the confidence in myself. And when it comes to confidence, like, that means I truly need to fake it till I make it, and I need to become that person slowly but surely, because with that comes who you're truly meant to be. Basically, stop self-sabotaging 2025 and for the rest of your life, because at some point in your life, you're going to have to figure out, are you willing to self-sabotage and wonder what if for the rest of your life? Or are you willing to just say, F it, do what you want to do, realize maybe it wasn't the right decision, and come back, but at least you tried. At least you tried. The best we can do is try. It's better to try than not try at all. Remember that when you graduate, the whole world is yours. The whole oyster. The whole world is your oyster. So let's just take that in and remember that that's a good thing. It's not a scary thing. It's a good thing. Obviously, have precaution, but remember that the world is your oyster and it is beautiful and there's so much to do. The way you reject yourself is the way others will reject you as well. You need to find yourself. You need to love yourself first for others to love you. We can get into that as well in another episode if you guys are interested. But this is the year where you really need to figure, the 20s are shitty. And I'm just 22. Please, I already know. I'm prepared for it to be a whirlwind of obstacles, but I'm so excited for when I surpass those obstacles and I'm literally in my 30s and 40s and can't wait to tell people the things I did because I wasn't afraid to do them. So anyways, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of self-rejection and why we do it, and in ways that I do it, and how hopefully this can help you out. Also, don't forget to subscribe, comment, rate this podcast if you find it interesting, if you find it helpful, so that other people can also view this podcast or listen to it. But yeah, with that being said, have a great day, and don't forget to go with the waves. Or night, because it is light. Ooh, look how dark. It's 9:09.